Shalom, call along by Shem Yahawah. I want to say salutations to the Akim and the Aqua that are out there listening and learning. Of course, honor, respect, and salutations to Yahweh Shai and also to Ruach HaKodesh. I want to get a lesson out today. I wanted to call it as they are led astray, who now is the prey? Because the predators have been out and they've been doing everything they can to try to deter and cause people to just do horrible things, and they are doing horrible things. But at the same time, they don't know the Most High. They don't know that everything is prophetically happening because the Most High has set things in motion, and this is what's actually going on. They're trying to cause and claim things that are carnal and fleshly driven as though they are changing the world. No, the Most High changes his earthly plane and his world that he has created. They don't change anything. Man is doing nothing but causing more disruption, problems, and disorder. And they are led astray. And that's what the subject is. In First Kings chapter 22, 19 through 23, there's an instance where the Most High is on his throne. Let's read it. It says, "And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord Yahawah sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And Yahawah the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab?" This is when Ahab and Jezebel were wicked, and Ahab being the king, he's doing some crazy stuff, and he's being taken down at this point. "Who will persuade Ahab, and that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?" Question. "And one said on this manner, and another said on this manner." So he had spirits on his left and spirits on his right side of the throne. And if you got spirits that are of vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor, spirits of honor, spirits of dishonor, and the Most High controls all of that. So let's just see what happens here. "And then came forth the spirit and stood before Yahawah the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord Yahawah said unto him, Wherewith?" Question. "And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets." And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so." So he's been given authority by the Most High Yahawah to go ahead and do what? To fall and to have the prophets and Israel and Ahab fall. Okay, so what he told him, "Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also, go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, Yahawah the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee." And you see the same thing happen now. We got a lot of evil speaking prophets of this world. Your TD snakes, your worthless dollars, your crying Olsteins and Copeland, all these lying prophets, man. And the Most High put a lying spirit. He's the one that controls all that. And now you got even the secular ones like your Sharptons and your Jacksons and all the rest of them. They're out here lying as well, calling people by bywords and trying to seal that identifier on people that was given by the wicked oppressors who have hold people in captivity in this country. And that is just completely out of line. But the Most High is letting them be led astray. Let's go to the Apocrypha and look up what the Most High says in the book of Jubilees, chapter 15, in terms of who he led astray and who he's dealing with, and who he's looking at taking care of, and who he's having them led astray in every way. Okay, it says here, this is the book of Jubilees in the Apocrypha, a book that is hidden, obviously, and primary sources have always been issue with the Hebrew Israelite community and religious practitioners, more or less with the Hebrew Israelite community, because the primary sources as far as the religious practitioners are concerned, they don't mind using the wicked and the mediums that the wicked offers in order to provide that information. They have no problem with that at all. But the Hebrew Israelites who claim to be in the truth, they use the same sources, and then they claim the individuals that they're getting these sources from, that they are the wicked and the enemy, but they still have to validate their information through those sources. That seems to be sort of like an oxymoron, a contradiction in terms of their validity, in terms of how they claim what books can be looked at, what books can't. Who gave them the 80 books? Who put the 80 books out for them? The Most High is his word is true, and his word is true before it was tampered with, and his word can be true through the filterization of the tampering. But that has to be done. That's why you have to rightly divide the word. That's what the Most High says in the scriptures, okay? All right? That's what a workman does, all right? King searches out things that are right. But anyway, let's read this. 28. And do you command the children of Israel, and let them observe the sign of the covenant for their generations as eternal ordinances? Yes, that is what's been given to the children of Israel. Eternal ordinance, and no one else has it been given to. And they will not be rooted out of the land. 29. For the command is ordained for the covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. Now, as for Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahweh did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. See, he didn't choose the rest of them. So stop trying to write yourself in and twistology and bring yourself into the truth of the word when you're not have anything to do with it. Okay? And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. Now are the Father's, and over all has he placed spirits. So he placed Ruach HaKodesh, not the Holy Spirit, but spirits what? In authority to lead them astray from him. See, so he put spirits to lead them astray automatically. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or Ruach, for he alone is their ruler, and he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his Ruach, and at the hand of his powers, in order that they may guard them. See, they're being guarded, and bless them, and they that may be his, and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. So you can see the ones who are in the truth completely, and the ones who are under the protection of the Most High YAHAWAH, they are guarded and are blessed, and they're not led astray. But you have some that were wicked, and they turned to their wickedness, and then they were led astray based on turning to their wickedness. Okay, who could be an example of those particular ones that are led astray? How about we go to the book of Maccabees? Because this is a good one to bring forth. We can go to Maccabees, and we can read how they went astray. Because I think that would be important. We're in the Apocrypha. We're going to go in the Apocrypha and go to the book of Maccabees. Let me get there. Oh, boy. Group. So, because we had a wicked root during the time of Antiochus in Epiphanes, where here goes Maccabees. Okay, we're gonna go to 1, right? Let's get to 1. Maccabees 1. There we go. All right, let's read about that. We won't see how they were led astray even back during that time in the book of Maccabees. Okay? Okay, this part I want to read. I'm in the book of Maccabees, and I'm going to start at verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bore rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons, and then many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. See that, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage in Rome, and he reigned in 130 and 70 years of the kings of the kingdoms of the Greeks. In those days went out of Israel a wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this, see what I'm saying? They're led astray. There we go, right? We got the same kind of thing going on right now in this world. We got people who are willing to cut a covenant. They're trying to cut a covenant with the people of this wicked system in this country and around this earth, of those who hate them, who have historically have a perpetual hatred for them that will never go away, and they're trying to cut a covenant with them again. See that? It says here, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who had them to give them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. See, this is what they're doing. They're out here protesting, talking about no justice, no peace, to a place where there can be no justice. So they're asking a wicked kingdom and a wicked king to give them justice where they can't get any, because there's not any there for them, because it's not set up that way. Yahweh did not do that. Whereupon they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. So as you can see, right there, that shows you that they were uncircumcised and joined themselves into mischief. Okay, let's look here. Let's read here. We're going to finish in Jubilees 33. And now I announce unto you that the children of Israel will not guard true to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this Torah. See, in First Maccabees, it shows you that they became uncircumcised and joined the heathens. And these were Israelites that were doing this. Wicked Israelites, man. See what I'm saying? For in the flesh of their circumcision, they will omit this circumcision of their sons, and all them sons of Baal will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. See? And so what happens when they do this? And there will be great wrath from Yahawah against the children of Israel, because they have forsaken his covenant and turned aside from his word, and provoked and blasphemed, inasmuch as they do not observe the ordinances of the Torah, where they have treated their members like the other nations. See, that's what they did in First Maccabees when they went against what he was saying here. It says here, in certain people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. See what I mean? So they did this to themselves, like they're doing it right now. And they're going out here and they're asking for salvation from a wicked people who will not give them salvation, because they can't give them salvation because it's not within them to do it. And so they may be removed and rooted out of the land, and there will no more be pardon or forgiveness unto them, so that their should be forgiveness and pardon for all the sin of this eternal era. So you can see they just went completely off in doing what they have done. And now at this particular point, they're running around, looting, rioting, doing everything that's horrible. And the Most High didn't tell them to do any of this stuff. But they don't know how to go to him and find him. So they can't get out of what they were doing. And that's part of the process of being led astray. They have no knowledge of what they should be doing. This is the book of Thomas, where Thomas was talking to YAHAWAH, and he says, Thomas said to the master, "That is why I beg you to tell me what I asked before your ascension. When I hear from you about what is hidden, I can speak of it. And it is clear to me that the truth is difficult to accomplish before people." The Savior answered and said, "If what is visible to you is obscure to you, how can you comprehend what is invisible? If deeds of truth visible in the world are difficult for you to accomplish, how will you accomplish things of the exalted majesty of the fullness, which are invisible? How will you be called workers?" In other words, you can't do anything for the Father. You can't get any salvation. You can't protest for it. You can't fleshly try to drive some understanding thinking that George Floyd changed the world because of what happened. That's not correct. The Most High is the one who is running everything. He's controlling everything. He determines who lives. He determines who dies. He determines who's born. He determines who's not. He determines who is sick, who's well. He determines all things. He controls all things. No one else does that. How will you be called workers? You are beginners and have not attained the greatness of perfection. Thomas answered and said to the Savior, "Tell us about these things that you say are invisible and hidden from us." And you know, this falls in line with Romans chapter 8, verse 5 and 6, as well as Proverbs 10:25 and Isaiah 28:9. Because there are things that are hidden to those who are lost, and they are not revealed to them because it wasn't supposed to be revealed to them. All right, and the Savior said, "All bodies have come into being in the same irrational way, and animals were produced, and so they are visible as creatures, lusting after creatures. Those that are above, however, do not exist like those that are visible. Rather, they live from their own root, and their crops nourish them, but the visible bodies feed on creatures like prey, okay, on creatures that are like them. So the bodies are subject to change. Whatever is subject to change will perish and be lost, and henceforth has no hope of life, because this body is an animal body. Just as an animal body perishes, these molded forms also will perish, as they are not from copulation like that of the animals. If the body too is from copulation, how will it give birth to anything different from them? So then you are children until you become perfect. See what I'm saying? So he's telling you this stuff is hidden from them, and they can't see it. None of these religious practitioners can see it. None of these Hebrew Israelites that are stuck in one particular venue of understanding that has come. They've gotten something about the awakening. They've gotten information about the southern tribe. They can't see the two sticks come together or coming together at this point. They have no newly revealed information, and now they're struggling to try to give information to the rest of the Hebrew Israelite community, because they're not willing to expound on the fact that the first curses and the first type of a subjugation that happened to the northern kingdom when it pertains to this end time portion of the prophecies. Now, you know, as far as ships bringing individuals from the western coast of Africa to get here in 1619, but when those that left from Salmanasseh and came here and were living in this land where no man was before, in this particular area of the continent, they were here before that point, and in 1492 is when they went into the curses and the slavery, in the process of degradation and this diminishment that happened to that portion of Israel. And now that those two sticks and information is being brought together, it's supposed to be related in that fashion of newly revealed information that brings forward the completion of understanding to that plateau where the next phase that the Most High is bringing in the prophetic transitional process is moving forward. But they don't seem to be able to bring that part of the information into existence and into fruition. And that's very troubling in reference to the way that conversation goes. But so now what we do have is we have an instance where I was looking at one of the lessons that Big Judah was doing, and I thought it was very appropriate to try to add it to the sequence of this particular lesson that I'm bringing forward. And what I'm going to try to do now is bring that information to you and let you see some of that in this particular lesson, and then land bait off of that towards the end. So if you'll just bear with me, we can go get to it, and we can see just how this works. All right? But again, this is the problem that we have. So check it out.
Most High YAHAWAH. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening. Gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of things that are soon to come on the earth. I wanted to hit this topic again about our names and who we are. There is power in names. We are not going to allow these people to finally start to recognize all of the things that were done to us, but then still continue to ignore who we are. That's the equivalent of a murderer admitting to 400 years of murder, but then thinking that they get to come up with their own sentencing process. That is not how this is going to go down. The Most High said, in the lands where it was said we were not the Most High's chosen people, there it will be said that we are the sons and daughters of the living power. See, listen now. Listen to what they're saying. They are admitting to the fact that we have been subjugated to a lower class, not getting any justice, being enslaved, being used to build up their kingdom for the last 400 years. That's why you don't see anybody pulling out Bible verses. You don't see them pulling out Bible verses. They used to be such a Christian nation, but they refuse to admit that we are the sons and daughters of living power. Because as soon as that is admitted, then they realize that they don't have the power to dictate how they're going to be punished. Now just listen, you got all these people out here that are talking about 400 years and how now we're going to admit to how horrible things have been for these people, these black people. And it hasn't just been black people, it's been black, brown people. That's gone through many things. As long as they do not admit who we are, they seem to think that they get to work out their own punishment. But see, these people, as it says, they do not admit guilt to anything. They hold themselves not guilty. So the fact that they've had 500 years to right these wrongs. See, the reason now that they're trying to right their wrongs is because they know that our power is back. They know that our power, the Most High, has turned his face back to his people. So this is why they're still, gung-ho on not allowing people to admit who we are. Even though, some of us walk around with our fringes, working around, they can tell that we know who we are, but they just ignore it because they don't want to, fess up all the way 100%. They want to fess up only, the way they want to. This is scripture right here. This is, you say you're Christians. You say you love the Bible. Well, read it and see who it applies to. Genesis 15, 13, and 14. Then the Lord said to Abraham, go know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own. This country was taken from us. It was given to the Gentiles. And we were worked to death for 400 years. And that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation, okay, they serve as slaves. And afterward, they will come out with great possessions. We're walking in to our blessing. And they are going to have to deal not with our power. And he said that after the 400 years, we were going to come out with great possessions. This is not talking about what happened in the Exodus, okay? We've already talked about that. They sojourned for 215 years. They were enslaved for, it was not 400 years. We're not going to get into that right now. So you had to go forward and look for a nation of people who were going to be enslaved for 400 years. They are admitting it all over TV now. They're admitting it. They're admitting that these people, these so-called black people, are the ones that have been, enslaved and punished for 400 years. 400 years is just about up, okay, from slavery. Slavery, in different facets, but we've been at the bottom the whole time. They don't get to treat us like this for 400 years and then just say, hey, you know what, let's now try to vote in, Trump is really bad, let's try to vote in Biden. Okay, you guys of both parties have had their turn to make things right for us, and neither of them has. See, that's the whole thing that they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem like, this is the only way that you guys can get redemption is by voting for somebody else. By, let's pass, they're all trying to rush now to pass legislation for police reform when they've been using these people to keep us at the bottom, for the last 500 plus years. The police were set up to do a certain job to keep us in line, keep us down, and that's why, that's what they were all set up for. So, they had no intentions of us being equal in society. They had all intentions of us keeping us at the bottom. And at the end, which is exactly where we're at now, they're trying to push the whole black people, Black Lives Matter, and everything else. Hebrew lives matter. It's not about Black Lives Matter. It's about Hebrew lives matter. And coming to that realization. The sons and daughters of the Most High. What does it say? It tells you, if you bless them, okay, Most High will bless thee. If you curse them, the Most High will curse thee. You better quickly figure out that these are the people of the Most High. And these are the ones that you need to be blessing. You can't just bless anybody. You can't just bless, all black people aren't Hebrew Israelites. So we have plenty of cousins that are not, Hebrew Israelites. They're not the chosen people. So it's very important to quickly figure out who the Most High chosen people are, because all this madness that you're seeing is because of the way that they've been treated. You see how now every time you Gentiles are looking right or left, you're realizing that things are getting worse and worse and worse, no matter which way you look, up, down, left, right. Everything that, you guys have built up is being destroyed, just like in Egypt, because that's what the Most High did to the people who wronged his people. And that's exactly what he's going to do now. So you better quickly get off the whole Black Lives, all black people, and realize real quick that there are many of the Most High's chosen people, and that's what he's coming for. That's what he's coming to make right. And that's what, you start getting the scriptures and look at it from the correct perspective, you will see it if the Most High opens your eyes. See, he's opened your eyes part ways to realize that the Most High's chosen people have been at the bottom this entire time. But that's only a partial awakening. I mean, I'm sure you guys all figured that out. The next thing is that Most High is coming back to redeem his chosen people. And the ones that are going to be spared are going to be the ones that Most High, has chosen to let cleave to the Most High's chosen people. The 400 years is almost up. 1619 to 2019. I've been seeing all these memes and these people talking about how bad 2020 is, how horrible it is. I'm sure you guys have seen them as well. Well, now you understand why. Because the 400-year prophecy is up. And they know it. And that's why all of a sudden they're admitting all these different things. Okay? These people have, they've done all these things to us. You got Zechariah here, 11, okay? And 15, how they hold themselves not guilty. Got killed by baby, not guilty. I killed Trayvon Martin. No, Trayvon, yeah, not guilty. I shot up a movie theater, not guilty. I fought some dogs, locked my ass up. You see that? I said, the prophecies of the Bible are just playing themselves out all over the place. All over the place. Okay? All right. So, many of the same things that they had done before aren't working anymore. Throwing out another, a black person pretty much talking trash about our people. I said, that's not going to work anymore. All these things are here. If you don't understand why Colin Kaepernick knelt down for police accountability in this country, this is why. You look at all these people. All of our people that have been killed and no convictions. And, the ones that killed, Mr. Floyd, so they would have gotten off also had it not been for all the people going out and protesting. Because they hold themselves not guilty. Again, fulfilling prophecy. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Look at that right there. All these people, not guilty, not guilty. How many more of our people need to get killed? Not guilty. And then they run out, this Candace Owens woman who just sits there and just downs her people and just says all the things that white people want to say about us, but just throw a black face out there and then they love her. Well, I hope that she feels good about herself and she enjoys whatever it is that she sold herself out for. And so because that's as far as she's going to get. And these are the things that they have been doing to our people for a very long time. Hundreds of years. You can always find some sellout or some coons or whatever else. Sit there and just say all of the statistics that they've made up about us. Nothing new. See, these people are absolutely incapable of truth. And I'm going to have you guys check out this video right here. It shows you the senators and their reaction to when Trump sent the military out to attack the protesters who were peacefully protesting so that he could go out and have his photo, his Photoshop in front of that church. And then the next morning, they asked these Republican senators their opinion. And here's what they had to say. Check this out.
Senator McConnell, was what the president did last night the right thing to do? Do you have any concerns about what unfolded at the White House last night? Was what the president did last night right? Was it an abuse of power? Was it an abuse of power? Was what the president did and what unfolded at the White House last night appropriate?
Here, if you want to reach out to our office, feel free.
Are you concerned at all about what happened at the White House last night?
Sorry.
Do you think what we saw last night at the White House...
I'm late for lunch. Gassing the White House protesters, do they have a right? I didn't watch that. We'll have to know what happened.
Was that the right thing to do?
Didn't really see it. I don't have a comment.
Do you have any concerns about what we saw unfold at the White House last night with the protesters? Yes? What are your concerns?
Violence is spirit.
I think it was important for the president to go to the Church of Presidents and see the damage done by arsonists and looters?
No, I don't think there's abuse of power. I mean, listen, I think the president getting out and seeing the damage caused by the rioting is a good thing.
I was grateful to see President Trump's leadership.
I am glad the president yesterday led by going to St. John's Church.
Do you think the president is de-escalating tensions right now?
It's a really tough time.
I did not think that we saw last night was a very good.
I'm relieved that apparently there were few to no injuries last night. Apparently little or no looting. Hopefully tonight will be more peaceful even than that.
Now, listening to that, you really think that these people are going to hold themselves guilty? You think these people are going to, now that they're admitting to the fact that they had us in, slavery and at the bottom for 400 years, you think they're going to vote for them to be punished? You think they're going to vote for themselves to serve out the same things that they did to us, double? Of course not. So see, they're trying to get out ahead of this. They already know that the Most High is on his way. They already know that he has awakened his people. So now they're going to admit what they did, but they're also not going to admit who we are, because then they know they have to deal with our Father, and that's not what they want. They want to make sure that they come into this truth or admit to their acts of violence on their terms. That's why they're pushing the whole Black Lives Matter, Hebrew Lives Matter. There are many people all over this world who are black, who the Most High is not dealing with. His children, that's who he's dealing with. And if you guys want the opportunity for the Most High to show any kind of mercy, you need to be blessing his people. But see, the wicked don't want you to know that, because see, the wicked, they don't get that opportunity. They don't get the opportunity to help the Most High's chosen people. They're made to be wicked, and they're made to be destroyed. These people have lied for so long, okay? And many of them, they said they don't have it in them to tell the truth. Okay? So say our names. When they're saying say our names, we're not George Floyd. We're not the names of the slave masters that you gave us. We are the sons and daughters of the Most High. That's what you should be saying. You should be, supplicating our power, getting on your knees and asking, for mercy from our power. Whatever he decides to do, as you can see, there's nothing that can stop him. He can do whatever it is he wants to do. So right here, this shows you that Black Lives Matter, calling us black, calling us all the bywords that you guys have made up for us, is not what the Most High has intended to happen in the future. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place where it was said to them, you are not my people, it shall be said to them, children of the living God, and the children of Judah, and the children of Israel shall be gathered together, okay? And they shall appoint for themselves one head, and they shall go up from the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. They're going to be calling us the sons and daughters of the Most High. So when they're saying, say my name, and you're naming off these people's names, remember now, many of them are the Most High's chosen seed. They're the sons and daughters of the Most High. And that's what you need to be starting to, hold them up to that regard. All right? And as long as they don't, as long as you keep calling us all by these bywords, the Most High is going to keep bringing more and more plagues until you admit who the Most High's chosen people are, that they've been wronging these people for all of this time. And what has changed? I said, our people have been getting killed for a very long time. What has changed? The thing that has changed is the Most High has awakened his people and the Gentiles. He's awakened them, to the fact that they have been screwing us over for hundreds and hundreds of years. And that they can't continue like this. And see, the Most High is not going to let them continue doing that. See, every time that they shot us down or did something to us, what happened? They went ahead and made every excuse. Like, when when we're protesting, you guys can't protest the flag. I can't, support you because you're protesting the flag. You're disrespecting the soldiers. They switched it. That's what happened with Colin Kaepernick. They were able to switch the whole, the whole protest. They were able to control the narrative because they had, they have everything. They have the media, they have the presidency, and they can shape it however they want. When he was calling the football players sons of bitches, and everything else, I said because they turned it to protesting the flag. What has happened from the last few hundred years till now, the last 3 years, 3 or 4 years from Colin Kaepernick till now, what happened was we finished our punishment. Now all of a sudden, when the people are trying to do like what Drew Brees did the other day and talk about military, he got attacked. He got attacked. Why is that? Because the spirit has changed. The things that they did before aren't working anymore. Now they say certain things like about attacking the flag, and all of a sudden they're getting attacked. Because the spirit has changed. The Holy Spirit has now brought more, understanding about who we are. And now you got all people all over the world that are trying to right a wrong. You don't get to right the wrong their way. Like I said, that's the difference. Our people have been getting shot down, but all of a sudden, now that we've come to the end of the 400 years, now the response is different. And see, now these people who have been owning all these teams, they're not going to be able to make money off the NBA players anymore. Can't make money off the MLB players no more. Can't make any money off the NFL players anymore. That's why I'm cracking up with Roger Goodell making a video talking about how they were wrong. I'm going to play a quick, they were wrong for how they treated, black people and how they've been treated, throughout the last 400 years. Let me go ahead and play that clip for you real quick. Well, here we go. You guys can listen here.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much needed change in this country. Without black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
Okay. So it's funny. It's kind of like we needed their permission to protest. Now they condone it. Now they understand, and they want us to go out there and protest however we want. It just shows you where we're at right now. This is the same guy who was all against protesting last time. All of a sudden now he's okay with it. What's changed? Nothing has changed. For them, what's changed for us is we came to the end of our 400 years of oppression. And now the Most High has opened up the Gentiles' eyes, maybe halfway, part way, to be able to see all of the things, all the punishment that the Most High's chosen people have gone through. He's going to open their eyes next to who we are. And like I said, once they understand who we are and who our Father is, and our Father says vengeance is his, they're going to realize that they don't get to make up their punishment. the Most High will make up the punishment for them. And he's already said all throughout his book how he's going to punish them. So, we were told in Baruch 4, children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you. Shortly you will see his destruction. And that's exactly where we are. See, you guys have had our Bible for a very long time. And this is how you guys understand it. Just the way Trump looks here, like he doesn't understand what the hell is going on with this book, what this book is how all these pastors and priests have tried to twist it into an old universal book. They've had hundreds of years with our book trying to teach it. And that's why they come up with stuff like this. See, they kind of break down their Hosea. We know that this means that in the lands of our captivity, we're going to be awakened. And where forever it was told that we are not the children of the Most High, there it will say, we are the children of the Most High. But see, when they get our book, they come up with stuff like this. The multiplication of Israel and Judah and their reacceptance as individuals into the Christian church. Thus, the present identifiable Jews of today are not necessarily those that are seen in the fulfillment of this prophecy. See, they try to just twist everything, and that's why there's so little understanding in the world. That's why even here at the end, when the Most High is set to reclaim his people, the Gentiles still seem to think that they get to make up, they can admit their crimes, but they don't think they're going to have to do the time. But I'm here to tell you that you are going to have to do the time, just like the Most High's children did. Okay? So just think about what's going on. Go deeper than just with the things that they're showing us. Yeah, all of a sudden everybody's down with the black people and everything else. Yeah, they want to be down with us if we are black people, because then voting can fix everything. So new legislation can fix everything. But once you take that next step to realize that we're not black people, we're not African Americans, we are the sons and daughters of the Most High, then they're going to realize they're going to have to deal with our Father. And that's something that they don't want to think about. All praise is to the Most High YAHAWAH. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh. Shalom.
Okay, so as you can see, for the most part, Shalaki, that what Big Jude is saying is very valid. And I was saying the same thing. Our people have been led astray. They've been called all these different types of bywords and names. And a lot of our people who supposedly prominent people have embraced these names. They've embraced the language that has been offered to them in reference to identifying who they are. But that's not who we are. I mean, here's a book that I pulled up. Even this book says blacks in antiquity, but it's not really who they are. This is by Frank M. Snowden Jr. You could probably go get this book, I'm sure, on Amazon, or you can find it. But if you can see in here, we got pictures of us in antiquity. Okay, as you can see right here, calling us black, even back then. Well, Esau's got all through stuff, man. He got all in there and did all kinds of stuff to change things and try to call us that. But that's not who we are. We're Hebrews. We're Hebrew Israelites. We've been the people of the Most High, chosen people forever, and we will always be. And they're not going to change that. Hope this message was edifying. And as I said, as they are led astray, who now is the prey? Yahweh is showing you. And in that note, I want to say shalom and abat.